If you've been keeping up to date with the series, you'd know I'm currently in the process of restoring this BMW E36 into a track car. I'm actually currently starting the restoration process by doing the bodywork myself. I've got no experience in paintwork whatsoever other than in my detailing background, so I'm teaching myself how to strip, sand, prime and paint this car as a complete beginner. I've already done the full painting process. I've gone around and stripped it all, I've sanded it all, I've primed it all, I've painted it in a lovely Land Rover Santorini black, and it is now all completely lacquered. However, I've got some issues in the paint. I've got some runs, I've got loads and loads of orange peel, I've got some dust, and I've got some dirt specks as I've been painting this car outside because I've got no proper booth to do it in. So in this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the paintwork's come out and how you can restore your paintwork to get it back to as nice as possible by removing all of the orange peel, the dust and the dirt specks by wet sanding and machine polishing it. So make sure you follow along and keep up to date with this track car build as a complete beginner. The wet sanding is commencing. As you can see, I've done a test patch on this part of the bonnet here, and this is obviously the terrible lacquer and orange peel in the final result of painting, which is not ideal. As you can see, you can't see my reflection at all, whereas in this piece here you can. This does need another cut on the wall pad, and then I need to get some Koch Chemie for this because I really get along with Koch Chemie, so I'm hoping this brings it up a little bit more because there is some tiny imperfections in the lacquer in the sun, but compared to this, yeah, this is terrible. I can't drive around like that when it's all done, so I'm going to wet sand this all down from 1,000 up to 5,000 and then get it all polished so it's back to this. So let's crack on and get it sanded down. Just taking a quick step back just so you can see it in the reflection. So as you can see, it's looking so much better here. Like, that paint looks unreal. Obviously it's not quite perfect in real life as such, but it's definitely a lot better compared to that. So yeah, I'll be a lot better when the whole car is looking like that, because that looks horrendous. But yeah, like I said, let's get it sanded down, let's get it polished up, and let's get it looking how it should. So before I crack on, I've got the sandpaper here, so I'm going to use 1,000 grit up to 5,000, I think, maybe 3,000 per, depending on how I get on. What I'm literally just going to do is break this down into sections, and then I'll just do a piece at a time until this expires. I don't really know how long sandpaper lasts, to be fair, but you can sort of get a feel for the sandpaper, and it sort of looks like it's sort of wearing away. So as soon as it gets down to that point, I'll get a fresh piece because I don't want to cause further scratches in the paintwork. But yeah, 1,000 up to 3,000. I'll wet it down as I go, like I've done there. I've already put some water on this. It's literally a little bit of water, a little bit of Surfex, to be fair, but water will be fine. Get all this sanded back down, and then I'll talk to you as I'm doing it, because what you want to do is look out for the imperfections in the paint, and that's when you know it's down to smooth or not. So for those that never sanded before and want to know exactly what sort of the process is like, so I've started to sand it down with 1,000 grit sandpaper. Basically, you want to sand it down until you can't see any of this orange peel anymore. So you see this sort of stuff, this is where you sort of round it back down to flat, so you're sort of knocking the heads off of it as such. But basically what you want to do is just try and get it back so it's all completely grey. So I'll carry on sanding down until it's nice and smooth. I can even feel it now that it's still quite bumpy and stuff, so I'm just going to sand that down as much as I can to try and get it as smooth as possible. Then I'll work up from that up to the higher grits of sandpaper. So I'm starting the sanding process using 1,000 grit wet and dry sandpaper, and as you can see, every now and then I'll lube up the panel just to make sure there is lubrication on the car as I'm sanding it. And basically what you want to do with this is just do it until you see it's completely grey and there's no more orange peel in the paint, and then you can work up to your higher grit levels of sandpaper. So that's that half all sanded down now. Obviously not going to touch that one, just going to let this one be and polish it. As you can see, it's all nice and smooth. You can probably hear the difference. This is completely nice and smooth now. There are some little bits here and there, but I ain't too bothered. It's never going to be perfect, and then we'll stick a wrap over it anyway, so it's not going to make too much of a difference as long as it's better than what that is, because yeah, I can't live with that. It looks absolutely terrible. So yeah, let's get all this polished, let's get it cut, polished, and then what I'll do properly at some point, once the whole car's done, I'll get all this cut back with a wall pad and some Koch Chemie, and then we'll get it all polished up properly. But that's it currently as is. Let's see what it looks like after. So this half has all been sanded down and polished. Let's have a look to see the difference. So over here, all dull, very peely, and now it is literally like a mirror. Admittedly, there's still some imperfections and stuff like that. Like if we went really close up and stuff, there is some imperfections, but it literally looks like a mirror. So I've sanded this side down from 1,000 up to 3,000, polished it. I am going to go around it with a wall mitt, a wall pad and Koch Chemie when it's here, just because it gets a little bit better result compared to the stuff that I've got. But to think that that panel, obviously this is still left to do, obviously to think it was like this and now it's like this, is unreal. So it just shows you what sort of result that you can get out of wet sanding and polishing your car. Obviously we just got the rest of the car to do, which is going to be an absolute nightmare, but the car is going to look absolutely awesome. Just look at that. Talk about reflection. See, you can actually see myself now. Obviously before you couldn't see me at all. If we walk over to here and then here, like, you can't make out that I've got a broken nose. Here you can sort of make out that I've got a broken nose. That is mad. I literally cannot get over with how good that looks. So I've gone from 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, polished it with the polish that I got from All Parts, and then obviously went around it with a refinishing polish using Koch Chemie. Obviously when the Koch Chemie pad and polish is here, I'll use that properly because there is still some very slight minor scratches. So when that's here, we'll go back around it and we'll make sure all them scratches are out. But I'll probably wait until the car's fully fitted up because it's bound to get some scratches in when I'm moving the bonnet around and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, really good result with that. Let's crack on with the rest of the car, which won't be today, but it'll be some point over the next couple of days. Another day working on the car. It's actually a couple of weeks since I've last done anything on this car. Just haven't had time, and there's been a lot going on. But just cracking on with some of the sanding on the doors to try and get rid of some of the orange peel. So I've started the passenger door, driver's door, finishing off the bonnet from the other day, which you would have seen, and then obviously now just doing the wings. I've had some bits from Slim's come as well. If we have a look in, got some fresh cloths, I've got some polishing pads, and I'm going to try these denim pads. So I don't know whether anyone's seen these. Apparently they're really good for orange peel removal, so I'll be trying them on the car. Obviously I'm wet sanding at the minute, but these are supposed to take out any orange peel and are equivalent to like a 2,000 grit sandpaper. And I've also got a few other bits and bobs. I've got some finishing pads. I've got the Koch Chemie. I've gone back to Koch Chemie. I've also bought some stuff from the parts place, but I've always used Koch Chemie for stuff. I'm going to go back to it just because I think it would be the best thing to take out some of these sanding marks. And then I've got some other bits in there. I've got some Polar Seal for normal detailing jobs, and I've got some Surfex normal detailing jobs as well. And I've also got some wall pads and stuff like that just to take out. Well, I'll be using the Koch Chemie with that, just because the wall pads are definitely the best bet. But other than that, yeah, literally just started to sand down these bits. I'll do this in a second. I've done the door, but as you can see, let's see if I can wipe it off a bit. So I need to just go back over this because as you can see it's sanded down, but there's a couple of little specks and stuff, so I need to give that another going over. I think I've definitely used too much lacquer on this car. You would have seen that I've been doing a 50-50 on the bonnet, so I've started to sand down the bonnet today to get that all back to how that one was. Stitched myself up a little bit doing the 50-50, but hopefully it will come out alright. Again, a few little bits on this that I just need to sort out, but I'm hopefully once it's all polished up and stuff, it should be quite cool. This door's actually come up quite well, to be fair. That's pretty much looking as flat as it's going to get, so I've gone round all of that. That's looking grey now, so that's obviously looking at how the door was originally, but hopefully once it's all polished up it will look really, really nice, and it will obviously be in a nice Santorini black. But I haven't bothered with stuff like this, just literally done the door itself. So that door's pretty much done, just need to go up a few grades. I've done 1,000, 1,200, I'll do 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, and then maybe 5,000. Got the Victory 140i, which we're still not raffling off, but it's clean, to be fair. So yeah, if you want to be potentially winning a BMW M140i, head to the Victory website. It's currently just a tool car and just sat there looking pretty. But yeah, we need to sell some tickets so we can actually start doing cars on our competition site. But I cannot wait to get this all fitted up. But yeah, I'm just going to crack on with sanding it, and then we'll get the front half polished up, then I'll focus on the back. Got around to finishing, or the first part of finishing off the sanding on the front half of the car. So I've done the doors and I've done the bonnet. So I'm probably going to leave it as that for this video, and then I'll get all these polished up and we'll see what sort of result we can get. So I've done this from 1,000 up to 3,000. I've gone around the second half of the bonnet, and I've done obviously the driver's door. So that's all the sanding done on the front end, and I'm going to concentrate on the back. Obviously bearing in mind I'm probably going to have to repaint the back wings, which is not ideal. So that'll be it for this video. What I'll do a separate video on polishing up all of this part and showing you the progress on that. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of it. Stay tuned for the rest of it. Obviously got a lot more to come. I've obviously got to finish off the second part sanding it back and then polishing that, but hopefully we can get a good result. So yeah, stay tuned for the polishing bit. Let's see what sort of result we can get on this, and then we're nearly there with the paintwork on this car. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you guys and girls in the next one. Ciao.